Keep it down, boys. One of them, the biggest, grimmest one, pushed his face into Seb's, but he didn't back off.
Who do you think you're talking to, mister?
Seb drew his service pistol and shoved the muzzle into the young man's ugly nose. The farm boy recoiled, as though he'd actually been shot, which he hadn't, and his Gansbart hat flew off. Seb gave them all another smile, took out his badge and flashed it at them. Another peep out of you lot, and there's a nice cell waiting just around the corner in Edstrasse. Suddenly they went quiet. The big lad bent down and picked up his hat. You could hear the zither again. Such was the power of a badge denoting membership of the criminal police, the Kripo, or anything else vaguely official-looking in the third year of the Third Reich. With the big gangsters in charge of the country, the little villains had lost their confidence. A shame, though, thought Seb, the heaviest, loudest one could have done with a bloody nose, and he would have been more than happy to oblige. Instead, he merely tapped his chest with the Walther. Enjoy the rest of your day, boys. Quietly. As Seb left, the little man they had been tormenting approached him.
It's a lie what they were saying. I'm not a Jew.
He looked at the man coldly. He was a weasel. Seb said nothing and continued out into the open air, where he took a deep breath. He was 35. It was a fine June day, and it felt good to be alive. Looking both ways down the street, his eyes rested momentarily on the fruit and vegetable stall where the old one-legged veteran, who'd been trading there for as long as anyone could recall, was doing steady business, selling new potatoes to a couple of grandmothers and a stubby little brown shirt. In the other direction, a group of tourists, American by the cut of their clothes, were staring up at the high bulb-topped towers of Munich's most famous church, the Frauenkirche. You could always tell the Americans. They were so well fed and so loud, and they loved all the Nazi kitsch, eagerly buying up picture postcards of the Führer. They were here in Bavaria for health and culture, as advertised on the travel bureau posters and in the New York newspapers. Gudrun was right. The traffic really did look heavy. Vehicles were crawling, and the driver of an almost stationary brewery dray, pulled by 4 weary horses, was cracking his whip at the vans and cars and cursing them. Seb's own pride and joy, a Lancia Augusta cabriolet, was parked outside the inn. 3 years ago, the little beauty would likely have been stolen or smashed up by one of the SA gangs that roamed the city, but these days, following the death of their leader Rum in Stadelheim jail after the Wiese raid last June, the brown shirts had been castrated like the dogs they were, and the streets were mostly safe. The Lancia was painted red, and Seb loved it almost as much as Hexie, though she thought he loved the car even more. Not that he had ever told Hexie that he loved her. Didn't want the Fräulein getting ideas above her station. He left the car and set off at a brisk walk, pointless trying to drive. The cause of the snarl-up was Adolf's grand plan for Königsplatz, turning it into yet another oversized parade ground and shrine to Nazism, as if there wasn't enough stamping and marching around the city in metal-heeled boots. On and off for months now, the building work had been having a knock-on effect throughout the city centre. Roads were dug up, and 2 temples were being constructed to house the remains of the Putsch martyrs of 23. White-gloved traffic cops were causing even more havoc with their frantic arm-waving as they tried to divert vans and cars in directions they didn't want to go. No matter. It was a pleasant day for a stroll, and it was less than 2 kilometres to Heinrich Hoffmann's photographic studio in Schwabing. He made his way to Lenbachplatz, then across to Barerstrasse, and strode north by way of Karolinenplatz, which was teeming with builders' vehicles and SS guys. The road west, past the Brown House and onto Königsplatz, was completely cut off. There was noise and dust everywhere. Hexie wasn't at the Hoffmann studio. The other girl, the one who was filling in for Evie Brown, and whose name escaped Seb, told him she had had to dash to the Osteria Bavaria with a package of prints for Hoffmann. Seb thanked her and wandered off along Schellingstrasse. A crowd had gathered on the pavements and across the road outside the restaurant. That could mean only one thing. Word had got out that Adolf was driving down from his mountain retreat at Obersalzberg to lunch there.